Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Communications from Home, and coming to you from our main fan page, Star Nation's main fan page here at Facebook. And I am producing the show from Star Nation's Academy. Yeah, in Toma, Wisconsin. And it's a beautiful, beautiful night, let me tell you. It's breezy, it's about 83 degrees and sunny. Yeah. So tonight is Tuesday night, June 25th, and it's the last Tuesday of the month, so you know what that means. That means we are sharing the Unity Breath meditation. It's a guided meditation, and it's all about raising our vibration, raising it to the frequency of love, right? And it's a very old, ancient way of being that we're remembering what it's like to be that way all the time. And so that's why I started doing these meditations. I've been guiding them for more than 5 years. Time flies when you're having fun, right? Yeah. Before we get too far down the road here, I'd like you to do me a favor, and I've got my phone here, and I'd like you to do something for me. Now, normally I would say a certain word and ask you to please do that, but it's something I just recently learned. There's been some, studying about Facebook, and Facebook has done some major changes recently in the last couple of months or so. And one of the things that was noticed is that there's certain words that are automatically scanned for, right? And we used to think a certain word that when we send the video, the live stream over to a friend or onto our news feed, that it would help us to get into the news feed more often, right? And in the old days, that was absolutely true. These days, it's not quite so true. And I'm kind of talking in kind of broad spectrums here. But what we're changing a word to, instead of sharing, we're changing it to sprinkling, or any other word that we can come up with that is much more Facebook friendly, right? Okay. So, and I came up with sprinkling because I was thinking, it's kind of like when we get ice cream cones or sundaes, and they do the sprinkles on the top, or when we're watering the garden. Some people still use the old-fashioned water can sprinkler, right? So I'm gonna be sprinkling the live stream show over to my news feed, so my friends know that I am live streaming. So I'm going to do that right now. Just takes a moment. And I'm loving and I'm sprinkling. Yeah. We got to come up with a really cool term that means something for Star Nations, All right, so I'm going to send it over to my news feed. And just letting them know that I'm live streaming. And to come on over and play. There we go. There. It's been sprinkled. We'll see how that goes. Too funny. Turning down my sound on my phone. There we go. Let's see. Doesn't want to sit in there correctly. There we go. All right. So, guided meditation night. I'm going to see who's in the chat. Rochelle's here. Hi, Rochelle. Thanks for being here. And Pat's here as well. Hello, Pat. Good to see you. And look, Rochelle sprinkled. She sprinkled the live stream to maybe it was a friend, or to maybe her news feed. Thank you for that, Rochelle. Okay, so This meditation has been around for quite a long time. The first time that I was introduced to it was back in 2001, I think, and it was around even longer than that. Let's see, probably since the mid 80s, maybe late 80s, something like that. One of my teachers, Drenvilo Melchizedek, is the one who brought the meditation. He was taught the meditation by the Kogi Mamos, and they are indigenous people who live in the mountains in South America. Now, the Unity Breath meditation is all about living from your heart and being connected to Grandmother Earth and Grandfather Sky. Okay. Yeah. So our ancestors, indigenous ancestors, and it doesn't matter where your people come from right now, you have indigenous ancestors to some continent. It might not be this continent, but your ancestors came indigenously from another continent. Okay. So if we go back far enough, we're all tribal and we all come from an indigenous group of people. Now, our ancestors knew that our connection and how we feel about Grandmother Earth and Grandfather Sky shifted our way of being to a much more pleasing and loving frequency. Okay? And they did that automatically. Now, the Kogi Mamos, what they showed Drenvilo all those years ago, was how some of their holy people, the term they used, become human. Okay? And it was a ceremony. It was an initiation of sorts, and but it was also allowing them to learn a more conscious way of being. And so what they did was they were put in a cave, no electricity, in a cave for 9 days and 9 nights, and they without food or water. So they were doing a fast, you would say, right, in the dark. And so in this being in the dark, they faced a lot of their fears. They did. They faced a lot of their fears. And they would do this, I called it a dance, but it's not like dancing to rock and roll, okay? It was more or less like a swaying. And some people might call it a trance dance, okay? And so when they were in this cave and facing their fears, toward the 8th and 9th day, they were able to see in the darkness. Many of them said that it was there was a green light in there with them. Yeah. And so at the end of their time in the cave, it said that they had become completely human. And what that meant is that they were living their life from their heart. From their heart. They knew about compassion. They remembered it. It was an act of remembering. It wasn't so much an act of learning, but an act of remembering. Remembering what it was like to be connected to Grandmother Earth and Grandfather Sky. And I left my water on the counter down at the kitchen. Shoot. I'm going to have to get up and get some water in a minute. And so they have a way of relating to the world that was much different than what Drenvilo calls the industrial human. Okay, that would be us, the industrial human. He also knew that industrial humans, it would be very difficult for them to go through this initiation, right? And so what he did with working with the Kogi Mamos, with their medicine people, was to devise a way that we could do a meditation that's very similar to the effects that the holy people had when they were in the cave. And the thing is that you can do this meditation anytime, anywhere, and you can do it as many times as you like. There's no set number, but you can feel how your vibration shifts into that higher frequency of love. Okay. All right. So one of the things that that I was looking up the other day, because I noticed that we're still doing something. We're still using vibration and frequency interchangeably. Like they mean the same thing, and in many respects they don't. They don't. The vibration is about physical matter, like our bodies, right? Our bodies, and how it vibrates in a given space. And that vibration happens from the inside out. All right. So you could say that we're vibrating at either the fourth dimension, fifth dimension, third dimension. You could say that and be absolutely correct. Right. But we can change our frequency. The frequency happens in cycles. It doesn't emit all the time. Okay, our vibration, we're sending out a wave all the time. It's consistent. It's consistent. The frequency happens in cycles. All right. So you could say that you're increasing the frequency of your vibration, and you'd be correct. So we're going to increase the frequency of our vibration to the frequency of love through this meditation tonight. Okay? All right. So there's a couple things I wanted to touch on before we get rolling with the meditation. Just in case you've never done this meditation before, I'm going to be using some phrases, some words that will help you to follow along in the meditation, and it's guided. And so this is, once I get through with the pictures, you won't see any more pictures after that. So you're not going to be missing anything, okay? Because you're going to have your eyes closed. Hopefully, you'll have your eyes closed. All right. So I wanted to show you a couple of pictures here. This is the earth, and indigenous people refer to her as Grandmother Earth, Mother Earth, Earth Mother, okay? And our bodies are made to replicate her. We truly are her children. Even our brain waves are connected to her, okay? And if you can see in this picture, and I'll give it a solo so you can really see it, is that you can see this, the blue lights kind of going through the center of her, and there's a darker going right down through the center of her. Okay. And that darker shaft of light is to show us her crystalline tube, also known as a pranic tube. It runs through her from north to south and south to north. Okay. And we have the exact same thing. We have a crystalline or pranic tube that runs right down through the center of us, bringing in universal energy all the time, 24/7, 365. Okay. And you can kind of see a shadowy kind of circle around the earth, right? That is her energy body. Then that is created by her inner core, her heart. Okay? So that pranic tube or that crystalline tube is an important piece. It brings in universal energy down through the top of the tube and up through the bottom. And it's constantly moving. And the universal energy is at the frequency of love. Okay? So whenever you turn your attention to your pranic tube, you're already bringing in love through your body, through your crystalline tube. Isn't that something? So it's not like we have to create it, we have to make it. It's already there. We just have to turn our attention to it and to remember that it's there and what it feels like, right? Yeah. So here's Pat. Hello, Pat. Welcome. So glad you could join me this evening. Glad you're here. And Marie just popped in too. She said, "Good evening. You told me I needed to do this last week. So here I am. Yay." All right. And you just came in the beginning, Marie. I was just explaining a couple of things before we get to the meditation, some words and phrases that I'm going to be using. So it's helpful to connect to it during the meditation. And what I was explaining was Grandmother Earth has this crystalline or pranic tube that runs down through the center of her. And it brings in universal energy down through the top and up through the bottom all the time. All the time. It never stops. It never ends. It's consistent. It's a smooth flow of universal energy that's already at the frequency of love. And so what we have to do is turn our attention to it and to remember what it feels like to have that love flowing through us. Okay? All right. So I'm going to be mentioning the crystalline tube. Now, here's something that I probably should tell you about. Now, the crystalline tube in the old days, and we're talking maybe 5 to 10 years ago, okay, and longer, used to be the circumference of your wrist. So it would be literally as wide as your wrist, okay? That was kind of like a rule of thumb. But energetically, spiritually, we're evolving. Two-leggeds, we're evolving. And the crystalline tube, for some people, have enlarged, all right? They've expanded. And for some people, it could be double the size of their wrist. It could be as wide to be able to, as it coming down through your crown chakra and going down through you, it's wide enough to include your physical heart. All right. For some people, that would be the width of their neck, literally. I know that's pretty big, isn't it? Yeah. And that's bringing in universal energy at the frequency of love. So it is flowing through you already. There's nothing that you have to do to get it started, to keep it going. Nothing. All you have to do is turn your attention to it periodically to remember that you already have love flowing through you already. Okay? All right. So here we go. Then the next one is, this is one of my favorite slides. This shows a good depiction of universal energy flowing down from above, down through your physical body, down through your chakra system. And it flows all the way through you, down through the earth. Okay? Goes into the earth for about, it's about a hand's length below your feet, and about a hand's length above your head is where the tip of your pranic tube is. And it's constantly flowing. And it's actually creating what's called a toric field. The toric field is if you were looking down at it from the top, it would look like a donut, okay? So that energy is constantly flowing in, down through the top, out through the bottom, and the bottom is coming up through the bottom and out. Okay, so it's creating this field around us. All right, and so this next slide, this is another good one. For those who study the chakra system, you'll recognize this. This is what's called the Hara line. And the Hara line runs directly through our chakras. It is the pranic tube. It is the crystalline tube. And this I like because you can see how far above her head the tip of the pranic tube is. Okay, where it's a circle just above her head. That's some people call it the soul root chakra or the return chakra. And so it sits just above the head, about a hand's length. And you can see just below her feet, there's also another one. Okay. All right. I like that picture. It's a very good visual. And the next one. All right, here we go. This is a good picture to show about those toric fields. Now, you see a field around the body, which is larger, right? A larger circle. And that toric field is created by the universal energy that's pouring through you and through the sacred space of your heart, the larger space of the heart. Okay, and for those who have studied with me to activate your Merkaba, you might recognize this as the Leonardo sphere. Okay, the bubble. And then there is another circle closer to the body, near the center, and that one is generated by the sacred space, or the tiny space of our heart. Yeah. That's the space that is connected to all of creation, the entire universe. It's called the holiest place on earth. Okay? So the universal energy, as it comes through your heart, it helps to create these fields, these toric fields around us. All right. Now, in the meditation, I'm going to be asking you to be bringing images to you. Now, these images are very powerful because they're really your own images. I'm going to be asking you to bring to you images of Grandmother Earth that you just really love and appreciate. Okay. And it can be anything of the earth. It can be a landscape. It could be a park that you just love to go to. It can be from the past, the present. Okay. It can be about children. You can bring a child to you, whether it's a son or a daughter or niece or a nephew or godchild, at a time in their life when you just loved them unconditionally. Okay? All right. And so anything about the earth at all to bring to you, and try to make the images as if you were actually there. Okay, so you're really looking at, is the path that you're on, is it grass or is it sand, right? Pine needles, having the scent of the pine. So making it real for yourself, basically. Those images of Grandmother Earth. And then we're going to be also bringing to us the images of Grandfather Sky that you just love and appreciate. And that can be anything in the sky that comes from the sky. Rainbows are up there, clouds, blue skies, the sun, the moon, the stars. Yeah. So anything of that about Grandfather Sky that you just love, And you'll be bringing those images to you. And you know what? It's okay. It's okay to spend a little time with one image and let that one go and bring in another image. It's okay to do that. The most important thing to do, though, is to feel how much you love that place or love that being, because you could also bring your pets to you, past and present. Okay. It's what it is it's helping us to remember what it feels like to love. Okay. And bringing images to yourself is very powerful, very, very powerful, because they're your own images, right? Yeah, I'll help you along a little bit, but generally it is your very own image. And so it helps you to shift into that field of love so much easier, where the images are very sacred feminine, divine feminine way of being is to bring images. Words being verbal and vocal is more divine masculine energy. Okay, so we're going to be using our feminine intuition. Okay, all right. So the other thing that I'm going to be asking you to bring to you as an image is either a sunrise or a sunset. And the reason being is that this is comes to us twice a day, the sunrise and the sunset. And it is a time when Grandmother Earth and Grandfather Sky literally show us how much they love each other. Right? So when it comes time to bring those images to you, is just to make them as real as you possibly can for yourself. So it elicits your love for them. Okay, that feeling, because that's the most important part, is the feeling. Okay, so I think we're done with that. Yep, we are. Okay, so we're going to be doing just a little bit of a relaxation. Okay, usually at the end of a day, you've probably, maybe had gone to work and part of you is still there. Some people, it's the time of day where they can actually maybe take a little bit of a break. And so what I'd like you to do is to get as comfortable as you can. All right, as comfortable as you can. That means that if you're sitting in a chair, you're going to want your back as straight as possible and still be comfortable. So you may need to put some cushions behind your back. You may, if you're not very tall, you may have to scooch up to the edge of the chair or the couch, wherever you're sitting, so that your feet can be flat on the floor. And so those Paul and George just walked by, kind of took my attention that way. And so those, to be able to touch the floor, okay? And you have your back as straight as possible. You can be sitting on the floor if you like, okay? That's all right. As long as you're comfortable and you don't have your legs crossed. You can have them stacked on each other, your legs can be stacked. Or you can sit like a small child would, and that would be their feet or their legs are straight out, okay? You just have to be comfortable and be an open circuit. If you like, you can lay on the floor. That's fine. As long as you can still hear my voice, that's all you have to worry about. I'm not going to be showing any more pictures, so you're not missing anything, okay? Okay. So get comfy. If you're wearing glasses or jewelry or anything like that, some people like to take them off. If you have studied with me and you have your mindfold mask, you can put that on. Block out some of the light. All right. So while you get comfortable, I am going to grab a glass of water, okay? And it won't take me but a second. As you get comfortable, Okay. Here we go. Now, all right, getting comfortable. We're just going to do some relaxation, bringing your awareness to your physical body. Okay, bringing you into the present moment. Okay. All right, so in a moment, I'm going to be asking you to take a deep breath in. And when you do that, what I'd like you to do is to really fill up your lungs, to have your stomach and your diaphragm come out. Okay. And really fill up as much as you can. At the top of that breath, you're going to hold it just for a moment. And then on the exhale, I want you to really blow it out. Okay. So here we go. You're going to take a big deep breath in. At the top of that breath, you're just going to hold it just for a minute, just a second, and then exhale, really blowing it out. Good. All right, we're going to do that one more time, okay? Okay, big deep breath in, really filling up your lungs. And at the top of that breath, just holding it just for a second. And on the exhale, really blowing it out, okay? And now just breathing easy and naturally. We're going to do is another deep breath, right? And this time on the exhale, what I'd like you to do is use your imagination. Imagine seeing a white mist coming from your mouth, okay? All right, a white mist. Okay, here we go. Big deep breath in, really filling up your lungs from the bottom to the top. And at the top of that breath, just holding it just for a moment. And on the exhale, imagine seeing a white mist coming from your mouth. Now just breathing easy and naturally. All right. Now, if you could please turn your attention to your feet. Just notice what they feel like as they touch the floor. Just noticing how they feel. Taking a nice, easy, deep breath in. And as you exhale, you can feel your feet beginning to relax. And now noticing your calf muscles. Notice how they feel. Noticing your knees. And your thigh muscles. Noticing how they feel. And noticing your hips. Taking a nice, easy, deep breath in. And as you exhale, you can feel your leg muscles relaxing. You can feel your hips relaxing. Turning your attention to your stomach muscles. Noticing your diaphragm. And the muscles across your chest. Taking a nice, easy, deep breath in. And as you exhale, you can feel these muscles relaxing. Relaxing. Good. Now turning your attention to your low back and just notice what it feels like. Noticing your mid back. And your shoulder blades. Noticing the tops of your shoulders. As you take a nice, easy, deep breath in, you can feel your back muscles relaxing. Relaxing. Turning your attentions to your fingers in your hands, noticing how they feel. Noticing your forearms and your elbows. Notice your upper arms and your shoulder joints. Just notice how they feel. Taking a nice, easy, deep breath in. And as you exhale, you can feel your hands and your arms relaxing. Relaxing. And now noticing your neck muscles. Noticing how your jaw feels. And the muscles around your eyes. Noticing your forehead. And your ears. Taking a nice, easy, deep breath in. And as you exhale, you can feel your neck muscles and your eyes relaxing. Relaxing. With every breath that you take and with every sound that you hear, you just become more and more relaxed. More and more relaxed. Good. In your imagination, imagine being surrounded by a white light, bathed in this white light all the way around you. This is the Creator's protection. And notice what it feels like to be surrounded by the Creator's protection. And quietly to yourself, or if you want, out loud, please call your birth name, your given name, 4 times, each of the directions, calling all aspects of yourself home to this present moment. Good. You're doing really well. In your imagination, imagine all of those images that you have of Grandmother Earth that you just love and appreciate. Bringing to you images of a place in nature that you just love. It's so beautiful there. A place you've been to many times. noticing what it feels like there. Noticing the ground, its color, what it feels like. Noticing the color of the grass or the sand. Noticing the trees. And the flowers. Noticing if there's any stones or rocks. Noticing the aromas of Grandmother Earth, perhaps pine or the loaminess of her soil. Or the salt in the air if you're by the ocean. The lapping of the waves or the sound of a stream. So beautiful here. Your special place in nature. In your imagination, imagine feeling or sensing your pranic tube, your crystalline tube. And just turning your attention to it to notice the flow of universal energy. Just noticing it. Being with Grandmother Earth. Being surrounded by her both inside and out. That's good. That's very good. Imagine a small child or a pet being with you. Could be your son or a daughter, a niece or a nephew. It could be a pet from the past or from the present. And just turn your attention to them and feel that the love that you have for them. Oh, that's so good. In your imagination, imagine gathering all of the love that you have for Grandmother Earth and placing it into a beautiful crystal. And with your intention, sending this gift of love down to the core of Grandmother Earth, down to her heart. Sensing, feeling, seeing Grandmother Earth's love for you coming to you, surrounding you, filling you up with her love. And notice where in your physical body do you sense, do you feel, do you see her love for you? Just noticing. Turning your attention to a night sky. And bringing to you all of those images that you just love and appreciate about Grandfather's sky. The stars in the Milky Way. How much you love a full moon. Feeling the warmth of the sun. Blue skies. Big puffy white clouds. Big tall clouds, thunderheads. As you can see lightning within the clouds. It's so pretty, it's so beautiful. Gathering all of the love that you have for Grandfather Sky. Gathering it and placing it into a beautiful crystal. And with your intention, sending your gift of love up to the sun. Sensing, feeling, seeing. Grandfather Sky's love for you coming to you, surrounding you, and filling you up with his love. And notice where in your physical body do you sense, feel, or see his love for you? It's good. Now, and noticing the beautiful colors. Noticing how nature responds to this moment as the sun seemingly touches the horizon, either sinking below the horizon or rising above it. It seems all of creation pauses for a moment to notice the love that Grandfather Sky has for Grandmother Earth and how much Grandmother Earth loves Grandfather Sky. And in that moment, we get to experience, sense, and feel the love that they have for each other. And the beauty of that moment. They show us how much they love us, their divine child. The Divine Mother, the Divine Father, and you, the Divine Child, creating the Holy Trinity right here on earth, raising your frequency to the frequency of love. Taking a nice, easy, deep breath in. And as you exhale, coming back to the present moment, back to our live stream, you can stretch and wiggle your toes and fingers. And when this feels complete for you, you can open your eyes. And if you would please let me know that you're back, just say a comment in the chat, just so I can check on you. Marie is saying, beautiful. Thank you. You're welcome, Marie. You're very welcome. Hide my name there. And you notice how in many guided meditations, what they'll do is a person guiding will bring you back to the present by kind of working their way backward. With this meditation, we actually leave you in that frequency, in that moment of love. So you can just turn your attention, say, to your pranic tube, your crystalline tube, and sense or feel it, and how the universal energy is flowing through you, connecting you to all of creation. sensing and feeling, the love that you have for Grandmother Earth and Grandfather Sky, and how much they love you. Now, you are at the frequency of love, so that means that you just changed your vibration around you, right? The frequency around you just went up because of your frequency. Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. And just notice where you feel that in your body, where you feel that love, and when it starts to dissipate. Because when it starts to dissipate, you'll notice that the more often you do this meditation, you're able to hold that frequency for longer and longer periods of time, because you're remembering. It's kind of like a muscle memory. Okay. And just notice it. That's all you have to do. And if you want, you can always do the meditation again to bring your frequency back up, because we have so many recordings of it. Just go out to our YouTube channel and you'll be able to download any one of them that you want. There's lots of them. Oh my gosh. Okay. And Rochelle says, love your soothing voice. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Rochelle. Yeah, I've been doing this for a really long time, Rochelle. I've been doing guided meditations for people since 1986. Can you believe that? 1986. And so it's one of my favorite things to do, is to do the guided meditation. So I really appreciate you guys being with me this evening. And if you're watching this as a recording, thank you so much as well. Doing this meditation really does change. It shifts the energy. It changes the frequency, because we just did, right? Changed our own frequency to the frequency of love. And anytime, anywhere, you can do this. You can practice anytime. You don't necessarily have to do the relaxation part of it, but bringing the images that you just love about both grandmother and grandfather, and the sunrise, right, or the sunset. And I used to, when I first started doing this meditation, I would practice when I was at stoplights, when I was waiting for water to boil for my tea. Just moments like that is bringing an image of Grandmother Earth to me, or Grandfather Sky, and just practicing that way, right? And you can do it anywhere, really. Standing in line, waiting somewhere. Sometimes when you're not feeling all that positive, sometimes we just need an attitude adjustment. This is a really good attitude adjustment, and it's a kind way to do it too, right? It's a kind way, and to help us raise our vibration, or our frequency of our vibration to love. Yeah. Okay, with that, enjoy the rest of your evening. Please just notice when that frequency of love starts to dissipate. And that's just all you have to do, is notice it, because the more often you do this meditation, the longer and longer you'll hold that frequency. So, okay, enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. for the Spiritual Roundtable, 3 p.m. Eastern. And then again at 7 p.m. Eastern for Soul Connections with Polly Jola Bay, right? Okay. All right. Enjoy your evening. Bama Mina. That's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.